So for those of you that don't know me, I am the founder of this group, CORKS Connections, Natasha Sudbury. And if you are coming back, thank you. I appreciate that. But like I said, welcome to our October meeting. The theme is obviously Power in Pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. If you didn't know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And today is a little bit different. If you've been to meetings before, we have a featured speaker, Barbara Hensler. She's right here, but I'll tell more about her in a minute. I started this group, CORKS Connections, because I wanted something that was not all about name tags, the small, awkward small talk, just everyone in the corners with their own little group. I really wanted it to be inclusive and about community and growing together. And so that's how this was born. CORKS is actually the pillars that I built this group on, and that's community and collaboration, opportunity, relationships, knowledge, and sisterhood and support. So a lot of people associate it with usually drinking, the CORKS name, so we're trying to change that. So this is all about like women, wellness, and awareness and networking. I chose CORKS as well because what do you do when you pop a cork of champagne? It's not just for fun, it's because you're celebrating something. So that's what we should do, is celebrate each other, celebrate the wins, big and small. And so with that, like I said, this month is extra special because it is breast cancer awareness. 1 in 8 women are actually affected by breast cancer. So if you do the math in this room, you know. And so tonight, I just want to remind you all to lean in, connect, and celebrate. And that's not just business, but personally as well. I really hope this becomes a space where we formulate more meaningful relationships than just business transactions. And so with that, I want to introduce more formally Barbara Hensler. She is going to be our wonderful speaker today, and she embodies what I think is courage and womanhood and resiliency. And she is going to share a story with us and help us welcome Barbara Hensler.
Thank you.
You can do it.
I can.
You can. And you can sit or you can stand.
I don't know. Are you guys okay if I sit? Yeah? Okay.
It's not allowed.
And so
I'll sit too. I'll sit too. We can have a business meeting.
I know, and I'm looking all around, and anybody that has girls, you guys probably read to your girls Pinkalicious. Did you guys read the Pinkalicious book?
No.
And my favorite line in the book is pink, pink, pink. And I look around and I see all this pink. So thanks for everybody getting the memo, and we're gonna all wear pink today.
And if you didn't, we forgive you.
That's okay. That's okay. So as mentioned, my name is Barb Hensler, and I would like to thank Natasha for asking me to speak to you all tonight. And I'm going to say it, as I've already said it 3 times, I'm completely obsessed with this venue. I didn't even know this was here. This is so cute. I've got to come up with some reason now to have something here.
Holiday party.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. I've always had, a little soft spot for firemen. I mean, first responders. And, then my love of old architecture, I'm kind of in heaven. So this is pretty great. And I'll let you in on a little secret that is going to become painfully obvious by the end of my journey here tonight. I am not a great speaker. I'm not even a mediocre speaker. But I am willing to put my terror aside in order to share my journey with you in hopes that maybe it can make a difference for somebody, even if it's just a message that you share. When I was in college, speech was a required class. I don't know if it still is.
I think it's more like an elective.
An elective now? Okay, so we had to. And I was completely terrified. My professor's name was Keith Cherry.
Like, you still remember?
I still remember, and it was a really long time ago. And there were 2 assignments for the entire semester. There was a 3-minute informative speech and a 5-minute persuasive speech. I promise I'm going somewhere with this. I knew the only way that I could get through these speeches was with some humor. And I have been a devout parrot head since I went to my first Jimmy Buffett concert in 1981. And I live by the creed, if we couldn't laugh, we'd all go insane. And I do love a colorful story. So my 3-minute speech was an informative speech titled Hangover Remedies. And my 5-minute persuasive speech is how the F word is the most versatile word in the English language, but it's not actually a word, it's an acronym. Not my finest hour, but I did get an A on both of them because I made them laugh. So
humor helps.
Yeah, so humor helps, and I love that. But I digress, which is my polite way of saying that I might have a little ADD and I get off on tangents. So just reel me back in and we're going to have a lot of fun as we kind of go through this tonight. And I hope that, like I said, when it's done, I've been able to articulate my message to you. There's like one message through the whole thing. So I met Natasha through a BNI group that she and my husband were in, a business networking group. And I'm not a morning person, so I didn't go to them unless I was absolutely forced to. They are very early. They're like 0:30, and I only see the inside of my eyelids. But it's a fantastic group of people. And again, I am so grateful to have met Natasha through that group and encourage anyone to keep up with the CORKS and Connection. I think it's a fantastic group that you're starting, and I'm really proud of you for that. Thank you. So here we are. I am Barbara, Barbie to my cousins only. And when I hear Barbara Sue, I know I am in deep trouble with my mother. I am a wife, a mom, a dog mom, a grandma, a daughter, a sister, an aunt, and a friend. I've been a licensed optician since 1985 and a realtor since 2015. I love purple to a level of obsession. I am an introvert by nature and an extrovert only by obligation. I'm unreasonably, dangerously, and seriously phobic of snakes. I love Disney. My affinity for Halloween and Christmas decoration keeps home goods profitable all year long. I work so I can play. I'm a Christian and I love Jesus, but I drink a little and I swear a lot. As they say in yoga, namaste. I greet the divinity within you and I respect your beliefs. And I bring that up just because there'll be a couple of times that I might mention divine intervention. But I'm not preaching. I love everybody. Oh, and I'm a 3-time cancer survivor.
Woo! That deserves some claps, you know what I'm saying?
So let's get comfortable being uncomfortable.
She's like, oh, let me throw that in there.
Yeah. So let's get comfortable being uncomfortable. Saying the words breasts, tatas, boobies, the girls, or my absolute favorite was when Kermit the Frog on an episode of Family Feud told Steve Harvey, mammary glands. In February of 2005, I was working for LensCrafters, and I was in a very dark place at that time. I'd gone through a horrendous breakup, and I was just really a dark hole. Went in to go to my old store to visit some friends and just catch up. And one of my friends said she had a mass, and she was going to go for a mammogram. And I said, well, who's going with you? And she said, nobody. And I said, not on my watch, bitch. I'm going with you. You are not going alone. You're not going through this alone. So I insisted, and she allowed, and I helped her navigate doctor's appointments and kept her brain busy while we were waiting for the results. And everything came back beautifully. They just said that she had fibrous breasts and nothing to worry about. So a couple weeks later, it was a Tuesday. I woke up. As I'm laying in bed, I thought, I've never done one of those self-exams. I should probably do one. So before my feet even hit the floor, I did one, and I found it. And it was about the shape and size of my pinky nail. Like you go to the store and you get a can of those Planters cocktail peanuts, and you lay them down flat on the ground, and they're kind of rounded on the top and they're smooth. It was exactly like that. And that was immediately what I thought of. And it was right beneath my left nipple. My gynecologist had insisted on me having a baseline mammogram the year before when I was 38. And I thought it was terribly unnecessary because I was only 38 and people didn't do this thing until, they were 40. And I didn't understand why he was all upset with it, but he was. And otherwise, I just didn't give the girls much thought. Fun fact, my gynecologist was also my best friend's ex-boyfriend. I know a lot of you are going to think that was really weird, but I promise it was kind of like having a fast pass for healthcare.
It's a fair point.
It was very reassuring. So I give his office a call, and he got on the phone and he said, I want you to come right in. And I said, okay. So he said, don't tell me anything. Don't tell me where it is. I'm going to just do a breast exam and see what I think. So he did, and he's like, okay, there we go. And he set me up for another mammogram and ultrasound that day. And he said, let's just go ahead and make an appointment with a surgeon so they can go over the results with you, just in case. Just in case. So I had the appointment to meet the doctor and to go over the results that Friday. And I went with my mom, and my sister was going to go too, but she was running a little late. So my mom and I go back in the exam room. They don't have me take anything off. They don't touch me. They don't look at me. They don't do anything. He comes in and he says, yeah, there's a lump, but I don't think it's anything. We'll check you again in 6 months. Have a great day. And he turns around and he walks out the door. I was like, okay, well, that must be good news because he's not worried, so I shouldn't be worried. I love this. This is awesome. So we walk out and I'm paying my copay at the window, and my sister had gotten there and she came over and she said, what'd he say? And I repeated it word for word because it was 3 sentences. And she said, she started asking me a couple of questions, and every answer that I gave her was, I don't know. I didn't think to ask that. And she finally looked at my mom and I, and she said, were either one of you even in that room? And she went to the desk and she said, I want another doctor for my sister right now.
It's the kind of sister you need.
We're not leaving. And she wasn't having any of this nonsense. She advocated for me when I didn't even know I needed it. Another 6 months and I probably would not have lived. It was growing that fast. We met another doctor within the practice, and he called Gyno Gary, and Gary said that he would feel a lot better if they went ahead and did a biopsy, because he did not like the fact that it had grown to the size it was since that baseline mammogram. That he was right, I needed it apparently. So the following Tuesday, so now 1 week later, I was on the table under the knife. That Friday, as I was getting ready to go to work, and let me tell you, those 3 days were absolute hell, waiting for the results of, what this biopsy was going to say. As I was getting ready to walk out the door for work, I got a call from the surgeon, and all I heard was, I'm so sorry, Barb, it's cancer. And I don't know kind of what the rest of the conversation was. I heard words, unclear margins, and I heard radiation, and I heard lymph nodes. But I had no idea because my brain was already going in 900 other directions. I was in shock. I was only 39 years old, and how did this happen? And I remember thinking right then, okay, God, you've got my attention. I do not want to die. I told you I did, but I don't. I lied. I'm listening. And I didn't cry. I went into planning mode. I called work and I said I was going to be late. I sat down and I scheduled all the appointments and the surgery that they had told me that I was supposed to do. I called my mom, who was, at that time, she was a travel agent or a flight attendant, and she was traveling, and told her. And then I called my sister and I told her, and then I called my bestie, who broke down and cried in the middle of Dillard's. And I still didn't cry. And I'm a crier. Like, I cry at the grand opening of Kmart,
Not Kmart.
But I took a breath, I made a sandwich, I let the dogs out one more time, and I got in my car to go to work. And 5 minutes into this might be where I needed tissue, 5 minutes into my 1 hour commute, Live Like You Were Dying by Tim McGraw came on the radio, and the dam broke loose. And I had to pull over, and I sobbed hysterically for 30 minutes. Like the kind where you can't breathe, you're just gasping for air, and it just all came out. 2 surgeries later, 36 rounds of radiation, burned skin and scar tissue, and the most hilarious case of what we fondly referred to as Smurf boob from the blue dye pooling in my breast that lasted for years. I was okay. I was good as new. And I did live like I was dying. I decided from that moment I wasn't going to wait for ... I wasn't going to put off the things that I wanted in my life until I met the right guy, until I lost 10 more pounds, until I got the promotion at work, until I bought a different house. So the first thing I did is I went and I bought the pink leather furniture I wanted for my condo. And then I decorated it exactly the way I wanted. I learned how to say no. If it was something I couldn't do, and I was okay with it. I explored all my options to be the one thing I wanted more than anything in the world, and that was a mom. And I adopted a baby girl as a single mom. Another example that I can only call divine intervention, and that's another story for another day. And as so ridiculously cliche as it sounds, I met my husband when she was 8 weeks old, and we went on our first date, the three of us, when she was 10 weeks old. And we've been together ever since. Within 3 months, we were living with Dan's daughter, the four of us together, and a year later, we were married. I quit waiting, and I got the life that I always dreamed of. So fast forward a little, on my birthday, December 26th, 2012, so this is now 7 years later, I was getting ready for bed one night and thought, even though I had my annual mammograms, I thought, I haven't done one of those self-exams in a while, I should probably do one. And it's a good thing I was sitting on the toilet, otherwise I would have fallen over. I could not believe it. And as I came out of the bathroom, Dan was already in bed and the lights were out, and he said, "What's wrong?" I don't even know how he knew anything was wrong because the lights were out.
Husband's
I wasn't
intuition.
crying. It was nothing. And I said, "I found another lump." And he was real quiet and he said, "Okay." He said, "Do you mind if I feel it?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, it's probably just a cyst, or, it's just fibrous tissue." And I know that was his way of trying to be reassuring, but I'm telling you, I was pissed. I was so angry. I felt like anybody I talked to was trying to placate me, like, "It's nothing, you're going to be fine." I knew. It felt the same. It was in the same place. You could not convince me otherwise. This wasn't my first rodeo. And they'd say it just like I didn't have a clue, and I did. This time I took a very aggressive approach. I had I had to change all my doctors when I moved up here, and I had to be aggressive because I had a family that needed me, and I needed them. I wanted to see my girls grow old, and grow up, and my husband grow old. We still had a lot to do. So with doctor's appointments and tests and biopsies, and again, I'm so sorry, Barb, it's cancer. This time I was face to face with a surgeon, though. It wasn't on the phone. I didn't have to hear that over the phone. And she gave me the time to absorb what she told me. And that gave me time to formulate questions, get informed answers, and make informed decisions. I would have a bilateral mastectomy with reconstruction. I would have 10 years of oral chemo medication. Because of the previous radiation treatments, I could not have radiation again. And they said, "Well, we could just take this one out and kind of keep going, but you're going to keep getting them. And maybe we get them in time, or maybe we won't." Just the type of cancer that I had. So I was like, "They're done. We're gone." So the choice for me was very clear. I had my mastectomy on April 11th of 2013. It's important, I promise. And on April 11th of 2014, I kind of had this huge sigh of relief, and I was talking to my mom on the phone. I was like, "Wow, that was a heck of a year. I'm glad it's all over." There were 6 surgeries between reconstruction and all that nonsense. And we were like, "Yeah, we're all in a good place." The next day, my mom called me and told me my sister had just been diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer. My baby sister. Trust me when I tell you, I took this much harder than I did my own diagnosis, because I never wanted her to go through what I went through. And not only did she go through it, she went through it much worse than I did. And we had both had the BRCA genetic testing, and both results showed no genetic predisposition. So that's not I don't say that to not do it. I say it to just cover all your bases, right? And that was a while ago. I think genetic testing has come a long way since then. So my sister Abby, Angelique, Arlene, Brandy, Brittany, Christine, Flora, Karen, Lisa, Marie, Nicole, and Regina. These are just a few ladies in my circle, in my life, that have been diagnosed with breast cancer. Sadly, our niece Brittany passed away in August this year, at 36 years old, after a 4-year courageous battle. It started as breast cancer, but it just ravaged her entire body like a tsunami. It just completely overtook her. But here are some more sobering statistics. In 2025, an estimated 370,000 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in the U.S., making it the most common cancer for women. About 42,000 women will die from breast cancer in 2025. When diagnosed early, the survival rate is 99%. Early detection and timely diagnosis is crucial, absolutely critical for better outcomes. Overall, the average risk of a woman in the U.S. developing breast cancer is about 13%, which is 1 in 8. And in recent years, the rates have increased by about 1%, with the increase being steeper in women under 50. And they think that that's because maybe, women are waiting longer to have children, or deciding not to have children at all. Or, we like our ice cream and maybe we're carrying a couple extra pounds. Breast cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death in women. Lung cancer is the first, with only a 2.3% chance of death, or 1 in 43. And sadly, African American women are the highest death rate from breast cancer, partly due because of a genetic disposition towards the triple negative breast cancer. Mine was an estrogen positive. My sister's was that triple negative, which is just, it's a beast, man. The good news is that death rates have been steadily decreasing since 1989, an overall decline from 1989 of 44%. So this decrease is believed to be the results of early detection and increased awareness, my favorite words, increased awareness, and better treatments. And at this time, there are more than 4 million breast cancer survivors in the United States. That is 4 million warriors walking among us. So what can you do now? Self-exams. Squeeze your boobies. I'm telling you, you have to. There are great little brochures on many websites that tell you how to do it properly. It's not difficult. Get a mammogram. When people complain about, oh, it hurts, it squishes, it doesn't. No, it does not. I've had a lot of them, and it really doesn't. And you.
I'm glad you could clear up that rumor.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, and after 36 rounds of radiation with some guy that all he wanted to talk about was his Corvette shows every weekend, and I'm flopping my boob out so he can zap it with a laser every day, for 6 weeks. Modesty is out the window a long time ago. Just do it. It's okay. Educate yourself. Educate. Breastcancer.org, the American Cancer Society, the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, that one's probably my favorite. It's bcrf.org, and Komen.org. Now, if you'll indulge my soapbox for one moment, I know that last one stirs a bit of controversy based on the salary of the CEO and things like that. But I would like to counter that and share this thought, to just consider it. Nancy Brinker started the Susan G. Komen Foundation in honor of her sister, who had passed from breast cancer. And what she did is create awareness. Pink ribbons everywhere. You see a pink ribbon, and what do you immediately think of? So, and what we really need to do is to continue to create awareness. What if I didn't do those self-exams? What if I would have waited? I understand that the CEO makes entirely too much money, but what is my life worth? What is my niece Brittany's life? What was it worth? If there is no dollar amount that I can put on that will create the awareness to, if you see a little pink ribbon and go, oh shoot, you know what? I gotta schedule my mammogram, and I'm gonna call my best friend because we're on the buddy system, and I'm gonna make sure that she does it too.
They're excited.
Firemen, I'm telling you. My husband's a realtor. Don't tell him, please.
I'm telling Dan.
So, to me, that pink ribbon's kind of worth it. It's a reminder. We've created the awareness. We've dropped the death rates of breast cancer. We just have to keep the journey going. So to me, that pink ribbon's kind of worth it. It's a reminder. We've created the awareness. We've dropped the death rates of breast cancer. We just have to keep the journey going. So I'll close with lessons from an almost 60-year-old. Take control of your health. Do not play ostrich with your head in the sand. Ignorance is not bliss. Educate and inform yourself like we talked about. Schedule your mammogram. I can help you do that. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. And you want to enjoy your life. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain yourself. Use the good dishes. Eat the cheesecake. Wear the tulle skirt wherever and whenever you want. It can go to Walmart and it is perfectly acceptable. Take the trip. Have fun. Watch something funny every day. I watch funny dog videos and then share them with all my friends, much to their chagrin, but they get them anyway. Leanne Morgan, I adore, and old cartoons, because laughter is truly the best medicine. Find your tribe, love hard, and keep up with people like Natasha, who brings women networking together. And thank you.
Yay. See, you're not a bad speaker.
I am.
You
I'm
lie.
horrible. I'm like,
You lie. All right. Well, so I know that wasn't typical of a normal networking event or anything like that, but that's really why I started this group, was to be different and to bring awareness to important issues like this that do affect all of us that are here. So I know a few people joined kind of late, but now we'll get to like the actual networking part. Did you want to talk about the mammogram?
So as I mentioned, I'm a realtor. Also, I'm with Keller Williams Suburban Tampa over in Brandon. And we partner with a home inspection company called FBI Group, and we have a mammo bus every year come to our office, and it's October 20th. This bus goes all over Tampa for the month of October, and I've got a little QR code thing that you can screenshot. Ours is October 20th from 8:30 to 2:30. If you don't have insurance, it's $99. Hear me when I say these words. Do not let $99 be the reason that you don't get a mammogram. Myself, my husband, other agents in our office, we have already set up scholarships for people. We do not want anyone turned away because they cannot afford a mammogram. I feel that passionately and that strongly about it. So the QR code, yes.
Question: is there usually have like an age thing where they're like 35 and up? Is it the same?
I believe it is less now, but the QR code will take you to the mammogram website. It's done by Advent Health.
Yeah, I'm familiar. My office is a part of it.
Okay, wonderful. And yeah, so it's something that we've been doing the last several years, and I stress it.
Well, thank you so much. I know you said that you're not a great speaker, but I think you did a fabulous job,
Awesome.
and I'm sure that they would
Thank
all
you.
agree.
No, thank you.
So I don't know why you were so nervous, but you did great, honestly. And again, thank you for sharing something so vulnerable with us. I think it's really great for everyone to see that you can still go on to be successful and inspirational and resilient and do the things you love. And with that, we can all go back inside.
I love that I got cancer and I went and adopted a baby. I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I don't need a man to be a mom. I don't need it. And then I found a great one.